Alrighty, today is the day. The day has finally come to put some paint on this car, the orange. So over the last couple of weeks, I've been getting the body work rubbed back, obviously doing all the primer and getting the body straight. There's probably a good week straight worth of rubbing down if you were doing it all day, every day, but obviously with a part-time job. But the motivation has slacked off a little bit as we've been racing and doing the Mazda and the VL, but back onto the LX now, and the body is ready to paint. So I've just gone over it with Daddy's help. He prep soled it. We've prep soled the whole car twice, and then I've tack ragged it, blown it all off with the airline, and then tack ragged it all again. So we'll do a quick walk around and we'll show you the body. So yesterday, just gone around at a couple of the edges within the boot and the window, painted the boot hinges before masking up the boot area, removed the springs off of them. As you can see, it's probably hard to tell in the video as it's dulled off a little bit, but no major hurdles along the way body-wise. There was, while we were rubbing down, found a bit of rust in this corner here, so that needed to be cut out and repaired all of that. That's all sweet. Doors have come out pretty well. I mean, it's no show car, but we've gapped them up as best we could for now. And then obviously as we go towards assembling the car, adding some weight in the glass and so forth, gaps may change, but they're pretty good. They're not perfect, but they're good. This door here, rubbing the car down, using the shadows with the sunlight. I'll throw up a picture, but this door had a little bit of a whoopie in it towards where it met the front guard. So we've had the front guards on the car, wet rubbed the car down with the front guards assembled onto the car, along with the doors, and then blocked the car down accordingly. And then we've removed the guards, now, as it's easier for me to paint them while they're off the car, up on trestles. Got that straight. We ended up going back to a bit of bare metal. So we've re-primered the car, laid on a few more coats of that so it's not too thin, along with the roof, which has turned out sweet after the sunroof repair. So hopefully the camera shows up that, but there's a little bit of a reflection there and you can tell, so you can use the lights as a bit of a background reflection, and it's nice and flat. So should come out good. We'll get some orange laid on it, just mix up some paint now. I'm gonna put a suit on this time so I'm not getting covered in paint, and hopefully no hairs and crap can fall in the paint. But obviously working with a spray booth that is very temporary and is a shed built or temporary built spray booth, you gotta accept the fact that you're probably gonna get a bit of crap here and there in the paint, and that's cool. I'll accept that and we'll try and do the best job I can. So hopefully all of you can see that this job can be done at home in the shed. Give it your best go and we'll see how it all turns out. Well, car's finally all orange, most of it anyway. We've still got the inside or the outside of the boot to do, and then the bonnet, still a little bit dusty in here, but I've had the fan on, wet the floor, got a little bit of a puddle with the tap flowing a little bit too high, so I had a bit of a drama with water spitting up at the start. Got a couple of bits and pieces here and there in the paint, as expected, but overall it's pretty good. I'm very happy. It could be better, but it could be a lot worse. I mean, I don't always tend to pick up a paint gun and spray paint a whole car every week, so first car I've painted, like a whole car I've painted in a long time. Last one being my LC, which is like 2015, 16. So, but yeah, it's come out all right. I've got a couple of bits along the bottom where the water I said dripped. They ended up, I just let that dry off, came back to it, and it was sweet. I got a run, I think in the whole car, I found 2 runs, so I'm happy. Front guard, got a hanger somewhere around here, not too bad. So I'm gonna just let that dry and tack off. It'll wet rub out, and then I think as we come down to the back of the car, there was a little bit just on the beaver panel somewhere along, where was it? Here. So that'll block out as well. Don't know if the camera will pick that up, but we'll block that out. Obviously not doing it in a $100,000 spray booth. There's a bit more blocking or wet sanding required, but it's all part of it. The whole car's got to be blocked back anyway because we're gonna clear coat the car afterwards. So this is a solid color anyway. You could get away with buffing this up and it would come up glossy, but I'm gonna clear coat it anyway. So the clear process is probably tricky as well. It needs to be a really clean environment. So now that the car's painted orange and the floor's a bit of a mess, this will all have to get swept out and we'll scrub it again. Once the car's obviously gonna put lolly water everywhere, sanding this all back, but it's come up really good. Bit different to the old 80s green, but definitely a much nicer color. It's hard with the fluoros in here, although I've laid out 6 to 7 per side and per wall. It is still quite dark in here. It's hard when you're painting. You don't want to try and have shadows because you can't see the paint as it's going on, but we got through it in the end and it's come out pretty good. Now we'll just let that tack off, the car can dry, we'll let it sit, and then we can get into wet sanding that later. But we've still got the boot to do and also the bonnet. And then of course the engine bay. So anyway, keeping on with it, looking good. So car is mostly done now, as you can see. A few hours in it spent today. The weather happened to be perfect, so it was mid-20s and no wind. So we are really dictated to when we can and can't paint where we are. So we're obviously surrounded by a lot of paddocks with dry grass, but today was really good, mid-20s. Obviously without a booth, the car can't be baked, so the paint's not being baked on. But I'm gonna let the car sit now for a week and then it obviously can dry properly. It's dry now, I can touch it, but it's still very soft. So I'm gonna let it dry. The car can sit for a week, and then I'm gonna block the whole car back with 1500 wet and dry. And then we are gonna clear coat, or I'm gonna clear coat the whole car. So this is a solid color, so you can get away with buffing this the way it is, but I'm just seeking that extra bit of depth, and the gloss, once it's on top of the solid, gives it that bit of extra depth, and it's going to turn out even better. So it's the exact same way that I've done my LC GDR. That is a solid color as well with a clear on top. So I'm going to do that the same, block it back 1500, and then I'll let it sit for another week. The solvents can escape, get out of it, shrink back, whatever it's got to do, and it will be nice. And then by the time I'm ready to apply the clear, it'll turn out really good. So I've put one of the guards outside now off of the front. So In here, the color is probably not showing up on the GoPro or on the camera as best as it is in person. So we'll take a look at the guard outside and you can see just how well that color really pops. Saying, obviously inside the booth it is hard to pick up the color that it actually is in person. So it's quite a darker, obviously the loneranger orange, but inside the booth, even on my phone and on the GoPro, it is quite a yellow color. Even in the sun now, it is hard to pick. It is still a little bit yellow. So I'll show you all how it turns out, and hopefully the GoPro can pick it up and really do the color justice. Tops of the guards come out really flat. Actually, most of that guard come out really good. But obviously once we are ready to do the blackouts, the whole top of that guard will be going satin black along with the rest of the blackouts around the door frames. Alrighty, so moving forward, pretty happy with the product overall. It's been a bit of a work in progress, but we're getting there. Once the car is blocked back, obviously I'm going to let this sit for a week, like I said, and then we can move into doing the wet sanding with the 1500 and then flow coat the whole car, and then we'll show you the process as I move into doing the blackouts. Obviously still sticking with that A9X theme. We've got to do all the window frames, the bonnet and the tops of the guards will be going satin black, and then we can move into doing more videos. So then we've got to continue on, obviously, with the GDS wheels I've purchased. We're going to get them sandblasted, new wheels, but for now, we're going to stick with doing the body. We've got a lot of work still to go. Thanks for following along with the progress. We're getting somewhere now. Thanks for tuning in and watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Keep up to date with all the videos coming, and we'll see you all on the next one. Cheers.